welcome to another episode of Open House with Kapeel Gupta. And I always come up with a topic that's related to students or teenagers. And it's something that can help them excel in life. So students study, but when it comes to applying their knowledge, they tend to forget whatever they studied a few days back. Now, is there any way to learn effectively in a better manner? And I'm sure many students would love to have an answer to this. A student is actually addicted to getting more and more information, reading more and more stuff, and it seems to him that he's learning. But actually, he's gathering information. It might be through books, internet, or any other social media channel. But when it comes to applying that knowledge, all goes in vain. So no change takes place in his life. So today, I'm going to discuss ways to learn more efficiently and effectively. And I believe this will help you a great deal in your studies. So you can even bring in your pen and paper and note down all the steps that I'm going to share today. So for all those who are joining today for the very first time and don't know me, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Kapeel Gupta, founder of Study Abroad Academy, and I am on a mission to coach and mentor 100,000 high school students and help them realize the dream of studying in the best universities of the world and build happy and successful careers for themselves. And I'm here on every Sunday, so you can definitely join me. And today I'm going to introduce you to strategies that will help you learn efficiently. And I believe all of you are ready to note them down. So let's get started. We have seen many students who keep on studying. Even at the time of exams, it's the same scenario. And when the teacher tells them to practice sample papers, they say their syllabus is not over yet, ma'am. Still need to study more. So again, keep on studying. It is just like holding of information. That means nothing is being put to good use. And actually, they should follow a 3 principles strategy. Practice it, do it, and teach other people about it. And I still remember my father's words. Learn something in a manner that you can teach others. So though I didn't understand its value when I was a kid, but I still followed it. And as times passed and I became a trainer myself, that I could understand the value of this golden nugget. So first, I should learn well, but to actually help someone, I have to put my knowledge into action. So I can understand both theory and practical. And this brings about confidence, more confidence in ourselves. And that's why I say, first read, then do sample papers. That means you're taking action on what you have learned. And then you are good enough to teach others, or let's say, write your exam. But when we find something interesting, we go and tell people about it, isn't it? It's also like putting our knowledge into action. And as we share it with more and more people, our confidence grows. So knowing the most effective strategies for how to learn can help you maximize your efforts when you're trying to learn new ideas, concepts, and skills. And if you're like many people, your time is limited. So it is important to get the most educational value out of the time you have. Speed of learning is not the only important factor, however, and it's important to be able to accurately remember the information that you learn. recall it at a later time, and use it effectively in a wide variety of situations. So, knowing how to learn well is not something that happens overnight, but putting a few of these learning techniques into daily practice can help you get more out of your study time. First, improve your memory. Now, there are a number of different strategies that can boost memory. Basic tips such as improving your focus, avoiding cram sessions, and structuring your study time are good places to start. But then there are even more lessons from psychology that can dramatically improve your learning efficiency. Number two, keep learning new things. Even I call myself a lifelong learner. My students know it. But surefire way to become a more effective learner is to simply keep learning. So if you are learning a new language, it's important to keep practicing the language in order to maintain the gains you have achieved. So if you want the new information, you just learn to stay put, keep practicing and rehearsing it. And number three, learn in multiple ways. Now, another one of the best ways to learn is to focus on learning in more than one way. Now, this might involve describing what you learned to a friend, taking notes, or drawing a mind map. And by learning in more than one way, you're further cementing the knowledge in your mind. Now, for example, if you're learning a new language, try varying techniques such as listening to language examples, reading written language, practicing with a friend, or writing down your own notes. Number four, teach what you are learning. That we mentioned earlier as well. And educators have long noted that one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it to someone else. Share newly learned skills and knowledge with others. Start by translating the information into your own words. And this process alone helps solidify new knowledge in your brain. So next, find some ways to share what you have learned. And number five, build on previous learning. Another great way to become a more effective learner is to use relational writing, which involves relating new information to things that you already know. For example, if you are learning a new language, you might associate the new vocab and grammar you're learning with what you already know about your native language or other languages you may already speak. And number six, gain practical experience. For many students, learning typically involves reading textbooks, attending lectures, or doing research in the library or even online. Now, while seeing information and then writing it down is important, actually putting new knowledge and skills into practice can be one of the best ways to improve your learning. And then number seven, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yes, very, very important. Trial and error learning, where the mistakes were close to the actual answer, was actually a helpful part of the learning process. And actually, study found that mistakes followed by corrective feedback can be beneficial to learning. So, if you make a mistake when learning something new, spend some time correcting the mistake and examining how you arrived at the incorrect answer. That's self-evaluation. Now, this strategy can help foster critical thinking skills and make you more adaptable in learning situations that require being able to change your mind. And number 8, use distributed practice. Now that is another strategy that can help, it is known as distributed practice because instead of trying to cram all of your learning into a few long study sessions, try a brief, focused session and then take a break. Because sometimes you are not able to focus for long. So if you were learning, once again, a new language, you might devote a period of time to an intensive session of studying. And after a break, you would then come back, rehearse your previous learning while also extending it to new learning. So this process of returning for brief sessions over a long period of time is one of the best ways to learn efficiently and effectively. And number 9, test yourself. Take tests. Now, while it may seem that spending more time studying is one of the best ways to maximize learning, research has demonstrated that taking tests actually help you better remember what you have learned. And even if it isn't, or let's say wasn't covered on the test. Now, this phenomenon known as testing effect suggests that spending time retrieving information from memory improves the long-term memory of that information. So I would say that becoming a more effective learner, of course, it can take time. And it always takes practice and determination to establish new habits. So I would say start by focusing on just a few of these tips to see if you can get more out of your next study session. Perhaps most importantly, work on developing the mindset that you're capable of improving your knowledge and skills. Because research has suggested that believing in your own capacity for growth is one of the best ways to take advantage of learning opportunities you pursue. And I would love to share my yesterday's experience with you. I was watching a movie. It was recently released on Netflix. The name was Shrikant. Now it is actually a true story about a founder of Bolland Enterprise, Bolland Industries. Now, the founder is blind by birth. But he says in the movie, and that is actually the life experience, that I have no option to run away from my struggles. So that's why I have to fight it out. And whatever he has done, I don't know how many of you know that in the past, in the Indian education system, people or the blind were not allowed to study sciences. And because this person was good in studies, he actually fought the education system in the court of law. And he was given the permission because he was able to prove that he is as good and even better than others. So that is his way of learning. And how he learned? His teacher, obviously, there's a teacher in his life who is helping him. So that is like everyone should look for a mentor for himself or herself. Now that teacher used to give him audio tapes because the braille wasn't available for him. And just by listening to those cassettes, he was able to memorize perfectly that when in the exam he was given a writer to write his exams, he was able to narrate the answers perfectly and he topped in the exams. And see the unfortunate, I would say that was India's loss. He wasn't given permission to join IITs because they don't have a mechanism to admit visually impaired students. And on the other hand, when he applied to foreign universities, the world's around top 4 to 5 universities actually agreed to admit him. And he had a choice. And what he chose? He chose MIT. So he studied in one of the world's best universities. So why I want to say this, that learning can be done in any way. There shouldn't be an excuse to this. So if you give yourself options, your efficiency will definitely go down. And do you know, the Bolland Industries was founded by him, and who was his first investor? Our great former president and nuclear scientist, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Because he was at school when he was selected for the Skill India program, and he got a chance to meet him, his mind was absolutely clear. His goal was absolutely clear. And when he was asked by Dr. Kalam, Mr. President, that what he want to be in future, he said he want to be the first visually impaired president of India. And that clarity, of doing, of not looking back, because he says it's not his limitations that is moving him ahead. It is his merit, his diligence, his efficiency, his learning capabilities. So I would say, I won't like to, share the whole story of the movie. It's better you watch it on Netflix, Shrikant. It's a wonderful movie. So watch it from the perspective of learning. Watch it from the perspective of clarity of goal. Watch it from the perspective of how to know your why. Why do you get up every day in the morning? How can you make best use of that day? So with that note, I leave it to you for your learnings, happy learnings. And I'm sure and I believe that you would have liked this video, this session. So stay connected, be there on every Sunday at 10 a.m. But I'm sure I'll be, putting this video for viewers to watch it later on. So you can definitely watch it again and again. Thank you.